Hello, everybody. Welcome to World Edition on the Pod TV network. I'm Nick Palavita, and we'll have our host, Mark Lee, joining us. He's tied up right now at the Haiti Center. We do have two people from CERAWeek that have already joined us, and we're going to bring in Christina. Christina, welcome to the World Edition. Can you hear me?
Hi, Nick. Good morning.
Oh,
Yes.
you can. That's
How are
great.
you?
And you wouldn't believe we also have Isaiah's here as well. So,
Hi, great day. How you all doing?
yeah. And so, what city are you in, Isaiah?
Right now I just got to Asheville last night.
That's like Asheville, North
Carolina.
Carolina.
Yes.
Okay, yes, that's not too far from where we're at. We're in the Durham area. And Christina, where are you at?
I'm in Las Vegas right now.
Lost Wages. Okay, and you like Lost Wages. Yeah, I'm totally familiar with Lost Wages. That's where money goes to be lost forever.
Yeah, I'll be in New Jersey tonight.
You're kidding.
Mm-mm.
What's in New Jersey?
My family lives there. That's where I'm from.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, Joycey. Where in New Jersey?
Brigantine.
Brigantine. I haven't been there. Is that in the South End or what?
All the way south. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason I haven't been there, because I've only been in New York City. Well, Mark will be telling us the updates of the news, but if you haven't seen it already, a bridge fell down in
I saw in Baltimore. Terrible.
In Baltimore, yes. And the thing is, it's kind of unusual, or Rick Rausner's joined us, that bridges fall down, but a ship apparently helped it. Now, that also happened with the Sunshine Skyway in Tampa, where the tanker hit the bridge went under, and they rebuilt the bridge, but they put these big casters around the things that hold the bridge up, so that the future ships couldn't hit the bridge. Like, no kidding. So they actually made it cargo proof to the extent that they can. It's odd, though, that in Maryland, apparently they didn't have that system. And so the cargo ship just runs into the casters, the thing falls down, and there it goes. And it was all caught on videotape, which I thought was quite interesting to watch that. And I'm sure Mark will give us the highlights of that. And then our friend Donald Trump got what they call in legal sense a remitter, which means the appellate judge goes, hey, it's not 460 million, it's 175 million. And so he goes, oh, I think I can handle that. So he'll probably end up posting bond in about 10 days, and the circus continues on in Never Land. Now, yesterday we were talking about, and since we're here on World Edition, let me see if I can bring this up. It's on my other one. We were talking about the earmarks and the pork that exist in the United States with our multi-billion-dollar budget. And what has happened is that we spent about 51 billion of the 1.2 trillion on what they call earmarks, which is basically what they do is they throw money at stuff to get votes. And it's appalling. It's disgusting. The news doesn't bring it out. And it's like people don't care. I mean, one of it is 3.6 billion, 3 billion or something like that for a Palo Alto museum. Now, I don't know about you, but the people in Palo Alto have a lot of money. And I don't know if you two people really want to pay for the museum in Palo Alto, but guess what? You're doing it. Okay. And then 3 million for a Pride Center in New York. I don't think the people in Ames, Iowa want to pay for a Pride Center in New York. Look, if they want to do a Pride Center, I don't have any problem with it, but they need to pay for it. They don't need the federal government who's busted to pay for it. It went on and on. There were 51 billion of these legal corruption that took place, and major media didn't bring it out at all. They just like, hey, it's just another day in corrupt Washington, D.C. And unfortunately, everybody here is going to end up paying for it. Or you're going to be, that's the reason when Kim was saying, hey, you young people, I have my opinion, you guys are screwed. The U.S. is doing it all the time by amassing huge amounts of debts with no end relief in sight. So the best thing to do, find another country that is actually solvent, which was not the United States of America.
Absolutely. And this country has been changed over the past 250 years. All the laws completely. I mean, the federal agencies never had so much power. And I think this month, the Supreme Court just put in effect that the federal agencies, they have to be able to respond to the citizens. So now citizens can sue federal agencies, just such as the like fish.
Get standing. Yeah,
exactly, which is huge, because before, like when we first put the agencies, they basically got all the power through the executive branch to do whatever they wanted, and nobody can hold them accountable. So that's the type of problems that we face in America, that we have all these huge organizations that can't be held accountable, not even to the Constitution.
Well, you have 1/3 of a billion people in America. For every person alive at the time of the Declaration of Independence, you've got 112 Americans now. You're going to need some government to run the third biggest country in the world.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, we do need some government. But like, I'm looking to purchase a place in Spain along the beach because first, it's affordable. Second, Spain had the same problem the U.S. did. So did Greece and Italy. Their debt to GDP ratio is really high, going over 100%. Here's the difference. The EU said, you got to get your debt to GDP in line. So they basically forced measures on Spain, Italy, and Greece to do that. The United States doesn't have a control system right now in place, which means their debt to GDP is going to go to 116% or more. It doesn't matter. The sky's the limit. And they continue throwing money away at stuff. Let me tell you something. A history museum in Palo Alto is not something the American taxpayer should be paying for. And when I'm saying that, the U.S. taxpayer. If the people in Palo Alto want to pay for it, I don't have a problem. The state of California, you guys, Rick, want to pay for it, I don't have a problem.
Okay, fine. But when you say 51 billion out of 1.2 trillion, you're talking 4.25% of the whole bill.
That's been the liberal excuse for years. Well, it's only pennies on the dollar, but pennies start adding up. And the thing is, you also start sending a message to the people that we're not going to stand for this this indiscriminate spending. So it has two reasons to do it. Number one, it's not really 50 billion. It's like 150 billion, because the interest you're going to pay forever on that. And then number two, you need to start sending a message that the United States needs to get their house in order. We did neither by passing that bill, even though it's, quote, only pennies on the dollar. I'll tell you what, let's put a bill that Nick Palavita gets 30 million. Hey, look, it's only pennies on the dollar, Rick. You know, it's wrong today. It's wrong 500 years from now. It's wrong for the senators who threw this earmark in. It's wrong message to the United States. And they just don't do that on things like that. They do it everywhere. The PPP.
So how do you fix it?
Well, I think the way that David Walker said, how you fix it is you have a fiscal stability commission. In other words, you have a fiscal commission, which they actually already passed, but it's clogged right now in Congress, so that there's an oversight, because there's no oversight right now in U.S. government spending. In other words, they have a fiscal oversight committee to start getting rid of these earmarks and these bloated governments. Another thing they did is the PPP loans. Now, all the people are real quiet about PPP loans, but let me tell you something. They turned the loans into grants. Now, we're still looking at our company, but does that mean I get to pocket $250,000 that you guys are all paying for? Do you really want to do that? Well, that's the way the PPP loans work, because my company took out more than $250,000 in PPP loans. And now they're going to turn it into a grant. What does that mean? Well, it's free money. And you guys are all paying for it. Okay. And everybody who owns a company is quiet about it. Now, I own a company. I'm not quiet about it because I think it's wrong. But at the same time, $700 billion of these loans went out. Okay. And that's wrong. It's wrong now. It's wrong 200 years from now. And everybody here is paying for it. There's Mr. Sasha Starr, speaking of a person who is fiscally prudent. You just need one person to step up. And right now we have nobody in Congress stepping up with these.
Well, this is the least effective Congress in history, least effective House of Representatives in history.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's because they're all on the take. And there's two ways you can be corrupt. You can be corrupt just overtly or covertly. Unfortunately, our Congress is covertly corrupt, and the media is complicit, because think about it. If you're in media, you're getting paid by these organizations that just took the money. Seriously, Okay. So the first thing that happens, because we're looking to get a grant from Canada, like no kidding, Kim's working on it right now. First thing that happens, are we going to talk ill about Canada? No, because we could lose our grant. So the media, who's being paid off by all these wonderful organizations, go, well, these PPP loans, yeah, we took them too. In other words, they got paid off. So they don't talk about it. How much money was it? 800 billion. Okay. That's not chump change, even by Sasha's standards, you know. And every corporation in America got paid off to basically be quiet when the federal government started turning.
Did any of that 800 billion get paid back? Because like Lance, my arguing partner, he got a little PPP money, and he paid it back. I said, Lance, what are you doing?
Yeah, some of it got paid back, Rick, but some of it, what they did is they turned the grants, the loans, which they were meant to be, into grants, which in English means they turn money that you owed into free money. It's wrong today. It's wrong 500 years from now. And it put the American taxpayer 800 billion beyond the grave. I mean, and it's like continuous mismanagement. Then Biden wants to forgive student loans. You know, he's just a walking, I mean, this is really a horrible election. You get one guy who's totally incompetent, which happens to be Donald Trump, and another guy who has no clue what he's doing. That's Joe Biden. There's your choice. You know,
Joe Biden has been in government for 47 years. So you may not like all of his policies, but he's got
okay, good. Then he's responsible for 35 trillion in debt because he's there for 34 years and didn't do anything. Also, there's no good argument. Just because you sat on a throne for 35 years means that you were competent. No good argument whatsoever. So what he did is he helped create 35 trillion debt. Thank you very much, Joe. And he also puts us in debt 1 trillion every 100 days. Thank you, Joe. And he's your other choice. He's not competent to be in office. Unfortunately, he's your only choice.
He's a ton more competent than the other guy.
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Unfortunately, he's your only choice. You know. And so the thing is, I don't know. It's a sad commentary that the United States, and I do know they have better people, but they won't get into politics. You know,
because the job is wretched.
It's horrible. Wretched. It's horrible. People lie, cheat, steal all around you, and so
I mean, to be in Congress, you have to spend about half your time fundraising. You're not allowed to do it from your office in Congress. You have to go to a separate fundraising building, and you sit there at a phone.
I know. I mean, I would really like to see a guy like Mark Cuban, because I've listened to enough on Shark Tank. The guy's really sharp, and he's not financially stupid. Matter of fact, he's financially extremely smart, unlike his contemporary Donald Trump. And somebody like him could actually get our fiscal house back in order, because he doesn't tolerate the garbage, and he smells the garbage coming a mile away. Joe doesn't. I mean, the guy doesn't have a clue what he's doing. So this is your choice, and I guess we have to deal with it. So Sasha, in the great country of Canada, I would be going there, but your country is too expensive. So I'm heading off to Spain, buddy. I looked at properties up in your way. You guys just want too much money. You're like the United States of America, you know? So off to Europe, baby.
Well, maybe you're looking at really hot markets like Toronto, Vancouver, and others.
I am looking. How'd you know?
If you're going somewhere around Newfoundland, you get a lot of land at not very high prices still. Or if you will go to Northwest Territories, it's even better.
Oh, the Northwest Territories. A lot of land real cheap.
You can buy a lot of land for next to nothing and keep it to your grandchildren, and they will keep it for their grandchildren.
Yeah, and the era of global warming, it'll actually be pretty nice.
Absolutely. You know, so, it will become a resort area. There will be all-inclusive holidays and so on. You just have to wait.
Yeah. Well, the other problem is the dollar doesn't do well against the Canadian dollar. And by the way, the dollar does not do well against the euro right now, which is really bad for me, because when your idiots here in the United States printed 1.2 trillion, okay, what does that do with the US dollar versus the euro? It drops the dollar relative to the euro, which hurts yours truly from buying his property in Spain. So that's another reason I'm really.
So why don't you buy cryptocurrency?
because cryptocurrency is
It's
complete
not
fraud.
terrible right now. A dollar gets you 92 cents of a euro.
It was 93 the other day, so it's dropped a penny already.
All right, so you've lost 1% of your money for buying
For doing
stuff.
nothing, for waiting to buy my property in Spain. And I don't think it's going to go up, because when you print money like they do here, the dollar just goes against, these other currencies.
We're doing better with inflation than Europe is, so maybe it doesn't always go that way.
Well, yeah, the only way it doesn't go that way is they print more euros, to balance the equation. But Rick, it's creating problems for me if the dollar falls.
I'm looking at the 1-year chart, and now I'll look at the 5-year chart. And there was a while back at the end of 2022 where a dollar could buy more than 1 euro, but also in that same year, a dollar could only buy 0.82 of a euro. So it's up and down.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, you want to buy when the dollar's stronger, which right now it's not so.
Anyway,
great.
Nick, there are still probably plenty of land, and good land, available in Africa. And you can get a lot of land there. And I'll tell you very quickly, because yesterday was my birthday, and there were a small group of people, including my relatives and so on. And I told them in details about my trip to Africa, Republic of Guinea, among other places, with a geologist, and how I acquired 1,750 square kilometers to develop the diamonds there.
Wow.
Now, here's very quickly, I will try to explain how in details it all works, because really anybody could do it. Nobody taught me how to do it. I started from zero, really from scratch. What I had at the time, I had a public company. The shares were trading around 20 cents, and I was looking how to increase the share prices, because you have to refinance, you have to take care of my options and so on. So how to do it? Somebody told me that he knows a diamond trader in New York, and he can lead me to talk about acquisition of rights for diamonds in Africa. It's a completely new idea to me. And I said, I'm interested. Okay, how do we go about it? What practically I have to do today, tomorrow, and next day to get forward? He says, very simple thing. Buy your ticket from Toronto to New York. You go to New York Hilton on 5th Avenue. In the lobby, there will be a person who will be designated contact for you. Whenever you meet him at Hilton, you have to give him $1,000 US cash. No question asked, just give the money. From that point on, he will introduce you to people who will organize your meeting with the ambassador of Guinea in the United States. And he will put you into contact with the right people and so on. From that point on, it's a green line. Said, I'm 100% for it. Yeah, the only thing is, whenever my trip to Washington will be end and I will come back to New York, I have to give that person on top of the $1,000 cash, another $4,000 cash. So my expenditure will be total $5,000. Okay, done, $1,000 done. Next day we are flying with his representative to Washington. In Washington, we are meeting the ambassador of Guinea in Washington. It's a tall guy, probably 2 meters tall, a black guy, of course. There were interpreters invited from French to English, because Guinea is a French-speaking country. Okay, we started to talk. And he says, well, you are in Canada, you're from Canada, but by your accent, I could imagine that you came to Canada from some other country. What is it? I said, from Soviet Union. He said, really? So you speak Russian? I said, yes, of course I speak Russian. He said, oh, fantastic. And he spoke Russian absolutely without accent. I couldn't believe. And I asked him, where did you study Russian? He said, I completed the university in Moscow, something to do with the building materials and so on. And the translators were there. They couldn't understand a word what we were talking about. And the audience finished, and he said, "Okay, I approve your trip to Guinea. Take your geologist with you. You will be met at the airport, VIP, and everything else, and they will show you everything what you need. And good luck." Okay, came back to New York, gave another $4,000, hired a geologist, and in 1 week we flew to Guinea. We flew to Paris, and from Paris to Conakry, the capital of Guinea. Okay. We were met as everything was going perfect. We were stayed in Belgium 5 stars hotel in Conakry. Next day, we are going to Ministry of Natural Resources of Guinea. It's a little. It's not even a house. It was something that you can't even describe it. It's like one room, a little thing in the middle of nowhere.
The ministry.
No electricity. So
Right.
we met with some officials. Okay, and I asked, okay, I'd like to see the map where this property is located. He said, there is no map. We cannot show you the map. And I asked, what kind of idiocy is that? How come you cannot show the map? Oh, we need special permission to show you the map. I asked, okay, I know about special permission. Here's $100 and bring me the map.
There's special permission.
Yeah,
What
special.
year was this? What year did this was
1994. There is a reason that I'm telling you that it was exactly 30 years ago. So finally, they are bringing the map. 4 men carry the map, which is falling apart. The map was done by Soviet geologists in 1962. And that's the only map ever existed in Guinea. So the 4 people holding the map, and I said, okay, how can I make a photocopy? They said, no, you can't, because there is no electricity. And it was the time before the smartphones and so on. Okay, I look at the map. So, okay, so next day, they offered us a service to fly to this property and to see the actual properties. Or people are actually extracting the diamonds. Okay, how we get to this property? Okay, you can fly by helicopter, but we have to warn you, it's an old Soviet helicopter, and there are some spare parts. We have some of them, but not all. So you can fly there. It's good enough to get you there. But on the way back, you'll have to wait until the right spare parts will come, and then you will fly back. I asked my geologist, okay, would you like to fly there? And I will be here. If anything happened to you, I will try to help you to get out of there. He said, no, why don't you do this? You fly there and I will stay here and I will help you out if you will get stuck. I said, but I don't understand anything in geology. My trip will be completely useless. So we decided, okay, we are not flying to using this old Soviet helicopter, and ask for any other solutions. They say, yeah, there is one solution. Okay, what is it? Okay, there are some group of former Soviet geologists who, after 1991, the fall of Soviet Union, they remain here in Guinea. They're working independently and they're doing very well, and they know geology better than all of us here, and they will help you out with anything what you need. I said, okay, let's go there. So when we were coming there, I already knew where we are coming because it was a tall, the all around that compound with the barbed wire structure, and you cannot penetrate it. Even if you will have an army of a couple of hundred people, it would be very difficult for you to penetrate. And finally, when we were allowed to get in, they have enormous amount of weapons, the military cars, and even a couple of tanks and so on. So they're well seated there. And they knew absolutely all about geology of Guinea. and they produced the right report and everything what I needed. They got it. In the meantime, stock was slowly, because every time you made announcement, the management of the company went to Washington, meeting Ambassador of Guinea. They're discussing acquisition of property to develop diamonds. So stock went from 20 cents to 60 cents to 80 cents. By the time that I got back from Guinea, stock was $1.80. So, of course, I've solved all the problem to refinance, to exercise my options, and so on. Everything was working perfectly. So my expenditure were, okay, I spent on trip to New York $5,000 cash, some tickets here and there, hotels, and so on. So probably 10 grand, no more than that. To fly to Guinea, the geologist, so it cost me another $5,000, and I had to buy a couple of diamonds because I asked how we can get diamonds from the property. So the Russians say, "Oh, they're being sold here in Conakry. You can go to a jewelry store and ask for diamonds from that territory, and they will sell you." I ask, "How can I verify that they're from that territory?" Well, they will swear an affidavit that they're from the territory. And what's the difference between they're from this territory or from that territory? What's the difference? You will never see any difference at all. I say, okay.
Do you still own 3 square miles of Guinea?
No, I don't, because I sold that that company together with this rights and everything else. I was paid very well for that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
the diamond mine.
The diamond market is completely disrupted now because of lab-grown diamonds.
Absolutely, no.
Sasha, did the mining company did the mine ever make any money for you?
The mining company?
Yeah, did it make any money?
Mining company, all asset of the mining company was a geology report produced by Russian geologists in Guinea. That was all asset. That asset could be worth, I don't know, $1 million, maybe a couple of $1 million, but no more than that. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I was selling the assets, that was evaluated at $2 billion.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Well,
not such a bad deal.
Yeah, it's of course all this money didn't go to me because there were shareholders and there were.
Yeah, because you have shareholders. I got it. Yeah.
So
talking about Africa, Africa is going to be the only part of the world in 60 years where the population is still increasing. The rest, so if you're looking for a place to do business that still has growing markets, you should look at Africa.
Yeah, they're actually
a quarter of the world's countries right now are not replacing their population. They have shrinking population.
To Guinea, I'm absolutely disinterested in Africa, in any business in Africa or anything to do with Africa. Frankly speaking, it's not politically correct. I understand that, but trust me, I know what I'm talking about.
It's a tough market. I mean, the thing is, it's you have a lot of what I call legal issues over there.
Actually,
except Morocco, I think is pretty sound. At least when I was over there several months ago, it looks to be a well-managed country. I think you got to take every country different, and then it changes. Just like Argentina is starting to shape up their financial market. Finally, somebody in the government realized that what they've been doing is stupid. The real problem with the United States is you still have stupid people running the country, and I don't see it's not going to change in the next 4 years. So I'm not really. I'll have to talk to Shaq because he does currency trading. I'm sure he's betting heavily against the dollar.
Currency arbitrage is a great way to lose your money. You're trading against people who have nanosecond. You have to be more nimble. You need to have like fiber cables so you can make your trades as fast as it's a good way to lose your butt.
Yeah, or you can make a lot of money. He's made serious money. I mean, multiple millions a year trading currencies, but he only shows me his winners. He doesn't show me the losers. Just like everybody.
You have to know what you're doing. I mean, it's sure. Like you're not going to betting on sports. You have to know more than the bookies.
I agree. I'm just looking to hedge my bet against the dollar because, if the United States continues just to print money and have this attitude that we can just print our way out of our financial situation, it's going to create more inflation and devaluation of the dollar relative to countries that don't do it. Period. El endo. So, the thing is, it's not a it's not a hard bet to bet that direction. You know, it's just
So,
like
Nick, you
yeah.
would you like to go into Mexican peso?
No. I didn't say I'm not desperate, Sasha. You know?
What about crypto? Would you like to go?
No,
to
no. The thing is, I just wish I'd listened to you a year ago and snarfed up more Nvidia stock. That's all.
It's not like
Yeah.
it's not that. Trust me, it's around 950. Go straight up to at least $1,000 a share, with probably higher, and
But it'll split.
then you will see split. And after the
It'll
split,
split.
it will fly. Nobody knows where.
Yeah, I should have bought on the split, but I didn't. You know, it was I bought some, but you know, it's almost every stock I buy little, and I said I really should buy more, and I didn't do that. So anyway, well, here's I'm just going through our international our list of items we're supposed to go through. Immigration.
Oh,
I have a solution. Pay to come in. Hey, look, you know, in Spain, what they do is they have golden visas. You pay, you play, you come in. You no pay, you don't come in. Real simple system. And the United States needs to adopt a system like that. If you want to come in, no problem. Bring your money, your talent, or your hard work. Oh, I don't have either of those. Stay home.
Every country has this. It just depends on how much you need to bring. I think they'll let you into the U.S. if you bring them $2 million. I haven't researched.
Yeah. Usually, the thing is, like in Portugal, it used to be you buy a home for 400,000, you put $1 million into their economy or something like that. Spain's like $2,500,000.
Spain is $500,000 real estate, 2 million government bonds, 1 million in bank deposits.
Right, but and we're looking to get one of those visas. And the thing is, the thing with Portugal is the visa program was so popular that guess what? They discontinued it. They
let in some bad guys, some Russian oligarchs who did some bad behavior, and it made the program look bad.
Yeah. You know, when I was in Barcelona several months ago, we were sitting next to a couple of Russians. They were disgusting people. I mean, they were slobbing all over the place. They were messing with the waitress, you know, and I'm surprised Spain let them in. I would send them back, but that's me, but maybe they don't even know they're there.
Well, not every Russian is terror. You're just seeing the Russians who got out. So
that's true.
They're a specially selected population.
Yeah. Well, when I was in Russia about 5 years ago, they were all pretty nice, at least the ones in St. Petersburg. I didn't seem to have a problem with them, except every now and then you meet one of these cold Russians. They must have came from Siberia or somewhere, and they need to send them back.
But look at the Russians who have $1 million or $1.5 million to pay some country to get in. Where does that $1.5 million come from? Probably not, super legit.
The oil industry. Yeah.
Why do you assume that the people do not pay to come into the U.S.?
Well, because the thing is, it's like this, Jatovi. If you watch television, assuming it's correct, they just walk through the border. Ta-da! If you watch television, assuming it's correct, there's 15 million that never got status here. Ta-da!
But
just as a fact,
to bring them to the border.
There we go. Pay to play, baby.
Actually, just to correct you, because you're obviously wrong on the facts. To get a visa, it actually does cost money. To get a medical exam, it does cost money. So to actually come to the U.S., it costs you roughly about $160 plus $480 on top of that for the medical costs. So you're already out of pocket over $500 just to come to the U.S.
And there is
a river, buddy. Cry me a river. I'm not talking.
You just said pay to play, and now you're
pay to play. That's not money. That's chump change, Chumpy. Okay, I'm saying start with 10 grand at least. $10,000. You put the $10,000 in the hands of Americans.
That's ignorant and ridiculous.
It's smart.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's not $1 million like they want in Spain.
So just to point out, to point out a fact, how the complaint that immigrants are taking money and we got to do the pay to play. Actually, immigrants have added a ton of us, or added us to the black.
That's wonderful. I like it, Jatovi. Now they need to pay us.
What is the complaint then? It
I
doesn't
don't have
make
any
any
problems
sense
with
if
them
you're saying,
coming here
are
and
you
earning
saying
money.
they're
They
taking
just
away
need
money?
to pay. They need to pay Papa.
But they're
if they
bringing
want
money
in here.
into our
10 grand,
bringing
baby.
money into our economy.
Since they're so bloody successful, you think they are, Chitovi?
They have the
problem.
lowest crime rate
That's
in
fine. They'll have no
comparison to
problem putting up the
natural born
10 grand.
citizens.
So Nick,
Chitovi, then they'll
Nick,
have no
you
problem
have
putting up the 10 grand. It's chump change for them.
Nick,
I'm okay
Nick,
with
you
it.
have one
You can't even
idea.
have a
Of these
U.S.
other
citizen
folks-
put up 10 grand.
Nick,
Put up 10
your
grand.
your idea could work. I have an idea where you pay people to stay home. You say, well, you apply for a grant. You say, here's $1,000. Come apply again. Use the $1,000 to get an associate's degree in your country of origin. Then come to us as an educated. But any of these ideas, nothing can happen with them because there's total paralysis about immigration. The last time there was comprehensive immigration reform, 38 years ago under Reagan, a third of this panel wasn't born yet. And this is the least effective Congress in history. It's evenly divided between Democrats and Republicans, and the Republicans are insane. And so nothing's going to get done, at least for the rest of the year. And if some party gets enough of a majority in the House and the Senate, maybe something will get done starting in 2025. But right now, nothing for the rest of the year.
The Congress itself has passed roughly about.
The government needs to make everything a profit center, like Las Vegas. Christina lives in Las Vegas. Let me tell you, it used to be run by the mafia, La Costa Nostra. But they got out. Corporate America came in, baby. Corporate America knows how to run Las Vegas. Everything is a profit center in Vegas. It doesn't matter. That buffet not free anymore. Pay for the buffet.
Again,
you want to come in? Hey,
some of the worst
Las Vegas
rates, also has
corporate America
prostitution.
knows how to run.
Also has a
Las
high crime
Vegas.
rate.
Run
A whole
America
bunch of
the
bad
same
stuff
way,
happening.
baby. Run
If you
America the
want
same
to
way.
fix
Get those
immigration, you
guys
have
to
to
run
do
America.
a comprehensive immigration bill. And just as Rick
Stop
pointed
this
out,
liberal
this
stuff.
Congress
Throwing this
itself,
liberal garbage
this
at me,
Congress
Chitovi.
itself has
Show
only
me the
passed roughly
money.
about 30 to 39 bills, which is the most inept Congress ever. And yes, it's run by the Republican Party.
Stop throwing names about it.
If you want a comprehensive
solutions.
solution, you've got to make that pathway a little bit easier, because a lot of the problem is
I gave them a pathway. It's real easy.
There's a backlog of 5 to 10
Hey.
years for these individuals. So a lot of the immigration problems
Fast
deals
track them
with
for 100 grand.
deals with individuals who have overstayed their visas and not the
Chitovi,
individuals at the border.
It's not a
So you have more
problem.
people who have overstayed their visas because they can't get an actual date, and they can't get lawyers and judges to look over and give them a visa. So there's a
Chitovi,
backlog
fast
there.
track them
Maybe
for 100
they're
grand.
staying in their countries that have a backlog there. So you just have this.
Chitovi, I have a solution.
So,
You fast track them for 100 grand.
That
Fast
doesn't
track
work.
'em for 100
That doesn't
grand.
work.
Give
You
them
tell
a
that
golden
immigrant,
visa for
you tell
million.
that nurse
Come
who's
on.
overstayed her visa that she has to pay 100 grand. to
If she wants
stay.
fast track,
It doesn't
yeah.
work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it does.
No, it
You know,
doesn't.
they pay it for their education. You told me
Maybe
they're
it would work, but you
contributing
can't get the legislation passed to put this or any other new idea.
Then she goes on the slow track for
It
10 grand.
would not
But
work.
they don't get in free.
You have
There's
to
no
throw
free.
in You have to throw in the legal pathway.
And
You
somebody's
have
got to
throw
pay for
in-
it.
You have to throw in the border patrol.
I
And
agree.
you have to give them
Chitovi.
resources.
Somebody's got to
The people
pay
that
for
come
it.
to the
I don't
border
want to pay for
need
it. I'm too
places
cheap.
to
I'm Mr.
stay
Wonderful.
as that legal pathway is there. So you
I
cannot.
don't want to pay for it, Chitovi.
Yeah, I know. That's
Okay, let them pay for it. They put up the 10 grand, but they want fast track 100 grand. If they want golden 1 million, no problem. Yeah, Rick.
I haven't read the bill, but I've been told by the media that Biden has moved further to Republican positions on immigration than any other Democratic president. So is more ready to compromise, and he has a bill that wouldn't do your idea, but it would provide enough like judges to reduce the backlog from say 6 years.
It's
to
just more
6
government
months.
spending.
All right, but it would spend a ton of money on the border for more judges, more guards, more stuff for the border to address the immigration. It would shut down the border on busy days when they're getting too many people. Anyway, all this stuff can't happen until you have people who will vote on. I mean, it may not be perfect, but it's immigration reform. but Trump told the Republicans in the House to not even hold a vote on it.
Yeah, but see, I don't give a rat's rear about immigration reform. I give a rat's rear about how America can become great again by being financially solvent. One way, make the immigrants pay. This is really
but as I keep saying, you can't do that or any other idea until you have a different set of people in Congress.
Well, you also need a media that will actually put forth ideas that work. Something like this works for the American public because we get paid. Run it like Las Vegas, baby. That's one way to do it.
When you say we, do you mean yourself, Jatovi, Reed?
Yeah, because then we don't have these little...
Okay, let's say an immigrant comes and brings $10,000 or $100,000. How you can collect your portion of that money?
Okay, here's how we do it. Rather than Uncle Joe's plan, which is to print money and create inflation, where I have to pay for it every day at the grocery stores, it creates a different
inflation across the globe.
Fiscally sound government. So
no, it's not my question how to get government. There's no such thing. You propose you pay for your stay in the United States. Okay, let's see, it's 10,000 or 100,000. That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's all
how you, Jatovi, and Rick will benefit from this money that each immigrant would have to pay. How you get this?
My taxes don't go up.
No, what for $10,000?
Your
taxes will just go higher, not lower.
Doesn't go
up. No. You don't think fast enough and deep enough.
Oh, you want
how you, Nick Maliveda, will benefit from somebody paying $100,000? It will all go to government services. You will never see a penny out of this.
Okay. You're right.
You will not have a penny, and so. But I want to tell you something. If instead of paying it to greedy government officials, so they will have Aruba vacation or so on, instead they are coming to the United States. They have to rent a place to live. They have to buy furniture. They have to buy food. They have to send kids to school. And that's how economy of the place where they are arriving at, they will make money, a real money. What you're talking about, I don't see any money for you or for Jatovi or for Rick.
Nick, have you Googled your idea to see if any other public figures have the same idea?
No, I haven't. But Sasha just gave me a great idea, and here it is. The immigrations they pay to come to the USA, and every taxpayer gets an immigration dividend. Yes, they did that in Alaska with the oil. Do you know if you move to Alaska, anybody here moves to Alaska, you get paid like $2,000 a year in the Alaska oil dividend. So we can have, now this is really making America great again, an immigration dividend. Think about it. Because Sasha's right. I don't get paid directly. No. Let's change the narrative. No. They put in the money and I get a dividend. No. I like that idea.
Not at all.
You know who will end up with all the dividends?
Who here is not for getting it?
Listen, with all the dividends money, you know who will end up having them? The people who control this dividend fund. They will be paid $250,000 salaries, and they will grab everything, and you will never.
I know. Well, the thing is, we have to make sure that every taxpayer gets a immigration dividend.
It will be all.
Now, remember, we're changing the whole narrative.
This is where the context matters.
Narrative that we.
This is where context matters.
No.
Yeah,
we don't do that.
Here's the funny part. So you're saying that, and this is just a ridiculous rabbit hole, so we're going to go down it anyway.
No, it isn't. They do this in Alaska.
No, the funny part is you're saying that immigrants should pay how much?
$10,000 minimum.
$10,000. Now, how many immigrants come across the border on a regular basis?
There's like a quarter of a million.
All right, do 250,000 have that $10,000
a month? Yeah. That's their problem.
They can get it. That's their problem. So you're not only going to not get $10,000 from 250,000 people. We'll say, okay, we'll get maybe about 1,000 of them. How much is that? 1,000.
No, we're gonna get more. Come on, Jatovi, we're gonna get more.
No, we're not.
No, we're
There's
not.
15 million
No, we're not.
illegals here.
Not
Have
at all.
Rick do the math. 15
No.
million at 10,000 bucks. How
You're
much?
you're not
Divided
listening.
among
You're just making up numbers now. You're saying
330
arbitrary.
million.
This is why it's a rabbit hole. This is
No,
why it's a rabbit hole.
This Alaska. Come on.
So
Jacob, you
again,
know that.
So
This
again,
is
say
real.
we
This is
end-
real stuff.
say
Dude,
we
just
end up-
wait a sec. This is how it should work. You remember students' loan?
Yes.
Okay, so you put immigration loan. So every person that comes to US, you
No,
put a loan of $100,000. He should
no.
pay throughout his lifetime.
So
And make
that's
sure
right.
they get young enough
Non-dischargeable in
so
bankruptcy.
they
Here's
have
what
any
both of
year
those ideas
to
do.
pay, and it is
Great
cannot
idea.
be
Here's
discharged
what,
in bankruptcy or anything.
here's what
So
both
each
of
one
these
must
ideas
pay.
do.
You are
Here's
music
what
to
both
my
of these
ears,
ideas do,
Sasha.
and this is
You
the
are
problem.
music
Okay,
to my
so now we're
ears.
saying
Music.
we're going to
I
loan
don't want to
the
listen to that
$10,000.
sound over there.
Here we
That's
go.
the sound of
Here
liberal
you go, Nick.
giveaways.
I got you.
Liberal
You're
giveaways.
saying
I
You're
believe
saying we're
music
going to
to my
loan
ears.
these
Sasha.
individuals $10,000. So now we're going to increase our debt in terms of loans when
No.
actually those individuals coming across
It's
currently
asset.
right now give us a tax revenue, a tax positive of $1 trillion.
No. The
So
thing is,
now
they
you're
get
going to
loans-
take that
they
$1
get loans
trillion
from the federal.
just so you can have the ego boost of saying,
No, I don't want an
let
ego
me-
boost.
let me
I
go
want
ahead
the
and
money.
In case of loans, Steve, in case
I
of
can't
loans,
even make
they
money.
are
all in debt,
receivables.
increase poverty
100%
rate.
guarantees. So
Increase coverage.
US will be sitting on trillions of dollars of
No, they won't.
receivables because these
No.
people cannot escape.
No,
it.
because
So you have
again,
to pay back the
these
loans.
individuals you are asking to pay $10,000 do not have that $10,000. You're
They can go
saying we
borrow
give it to
somewhere.
them loans. They can't pay the $10,000. So now you have a bigger
They'll
debt.
go knock on your door and go borrow
All
it.
that positive that you talked about, that is actually a
I'm looking
negative
up-
loan.
Great idea.
I'm looking up visa fees, and for if you're a corporation and you want to bring in people on the H-1B visa,
Yeah, I've done that before.
okay,
How much is
it's $5,000. It's $500 for fraud prevention.
5,000.
There's a fraud prevention fee, and then there's another fee if your company employs more than 50 H-1B people. It's $4,500 per person. So
Right.
you're looking at
Right.
$5,000 just for that.
Yeah, I've hired people on HB1s before, Rick, and we had to pay that plus the attorney's fee. So it's not unusual to have a pay to play. The unusual thing is your liberal media won't bring it up, and your congressmen are asleep at the door. And there's this whole method that we're going to give money away. I don't give money away. I like dividends.
what the
Wait,
liberal
wait, wait.
media wants.
Counselor, let me call you to task real quick. You said that we are not paying, that immigrants are not paying to come across the border. However,
No,
I've showed you for the visas, they're paying for the border. Rick just showed you that companies are paying for the border. So therefore, where's your complaint? And why are you saying, back to my question initially, why are you saying that immigrants are not paying?
It's the illegal ones. The legal ones, like I brought in this lady from Canada.
Again,
by
we
the
just
way.
talked about, you
It
said,
was an
first,
H-1B
counsel, let me
visa,
interrupt
and I
you because you
paid
said
money
it's the illegal
here.
one. We'll say undocumented. We'll say
I forgot
undocumented
what it
immigrants.
was,
But either
maybe
way,
$5,000.
you said that you did not want to pay for these legal pathways. So therefore,
No,
those immigrants
they do.
can't have a
100%.
legal pathway. So they're
No, they do.
stuck. They're stuck
They-
in limbo for 10 years and
Dude,
can't.
they just don't get in free. There's no free lunch.
You
there's no
mentioned
free
that
visas.
you talk about the liberal media not talking about things like this.
Yeah.
Neither side of the media talks about anything concrete. Each side just yells about their own like few talking points. I don't see any statistics on immigration from either side that aren't BS. That nobody ever talks like nobody ever discusses the nuts and bolts of this issue. It's all just yelling
Sure.
and fear mongering. So
I agree with you, Rick. I mean, the thing is, when they say we want immigration reform, it doesn't mean anything. You got to get to the nuts and the bolts of this. So I have a plan. It's a real simple plan. It's used in other countries throughout
There
the world.
was a
Pay to
plan.
play, no free lunch here. And by the way, for the 15 million
There-
that got in illegally, when we catch you, we
Yeah.
don't release. We catch you, we fine
There
you.
was a
10
plan.
grand.
There was
And
a
then I-
plan, but the Republican Party voted against it
Great
due
idea.
to
Thank
Trump.
you, Sasha.
Okay,
Thank you, Sasha.
here's what it is. The idea to put a tax of say 10,000 or 100,000, it doesn't matter, or something in between, on each immigrant coming to U.S. Doesn't matter legal or illegal. It doesn't matter. Actually, illegal have to pay twice as much for starters. That essentially will stop any immigration to U.S., legal and illegal, because every person, imagine, he is arriving to the United States and he's already immediately, he's subject to $100,000 loan that he has to pay throughout his life. So you start right in the minus of $100,000. Are you crazy to go to the United States to immediately be in debt of $100,000?
No, they
Not in the
Sasha, they
shot.
do it all the time. It's called education in America.
No,
I mean, you know,
correct.
you think they won't spend 100
What?
grand? People in the U.S. spend 100,000 on their
Here's-
stupid education.
Here's a question for both of you guys, because you keep saying, "Oh well, this
Because we have solutions.
spend all this money. They're going to be afraid to spend all this money." Do bank robbers stop robbing banks because they see cops outside? No. If you're running away and trying to
Stupid
make sure
robber.
your family is safe and not being attacked by mobs and gangsters that are stuck where you are, do you worry about crossing the border and that money, or even going to jail in an area where you think you'll be actually safer? No. All you're doing is adding more money in terms of loans, because we already know the loan debt is the student loan debt is extremely high. So all you're doing is adding more to the national debt when you're adding these random arbitrary bills to an actual individual who doesn't have any money and fleeing for their lives.
Steve Rao, our Washington, D.C. correspondent, has just joined us, which is very important because, Steve, we've come up with a great idea. We're not listening to liberal left from Jacoby. And this is between me and Sasha, the new Congress of the Pod TV network. The immigrations are going to pay to come to the United States, and all the taxpayers are going to get an immigration dividend. Similar to what happened in case you don't know, it happened in Alaska, where in Alaska, they actually have an oil dividend in Alaska. So with that, rather than just do the Alaska oil dividend, and by the way, anyone wants to move to Alaska, they give you like $2,000 a year on their oil dividend. Not a bad dividend.
Nick,
Well,
Nick,
here we go.
note,
We're going to make
pass this note
immigration
to,
great again. We're going to welcome these people when they pay $10,000 to $100,000
I got a
to
great
come to the
idea.
United
too.
States, and we get an
This evening-
immigration dividend.
Hey, Nick, is he going to pass this note to Kamala and to
Yeah,
Joe
absolutely.
Biden? Because he's going to go meet with them
Absolutely.
later on today.
It's not a
I
good
mean-
idea. I would thank Sasha for the dividend aspect. It's because he goes, how are you going to get paid? And I go, it's a hard thing to say, but the immigration dividend will benefit you, Mark. It'll benefit Jacoby, and though I don't
It
want
won't
to benefit
benefit us
Jacoby.
because it's putting us
When
more in
Jacoby
debt.
gets his first check, it'll change his mind.
Well,
He'll go, this immigration
It'll
policy's
put
great.
us more in debt.
It'll benefit Americans.
Put
all
us
the
more
people
in
that are
debt.
struggling. But see, Jacoby doesn't want to benefit the struggling Americans.
It puts
But
us
when he
more
gets
in
his
debt.
check, when you
You're
get your
saying
check,
throwing
Jacoby,
this extra
change
debt
your
on an
mind.
individual that we're going to ultimately end up paying for, rather than
No.
allowing them to work and get jobs and benefit America to the point of $1 trillion in tax revenue.
They'll have no problem paying the 10,000 to 100,000, 10,000
Nope, that
minimum,
works.
100,000 for the fast
That's what-
track, and 1 million for the golden visa. Baby,
That's
they
why
do that
doctors are still
overseas.
in
And we
student
will
loan
make
debt.
immigration
That's
problems.
why
go
lawyers
away.
are still in student loan debt.
Hey, well, those are the stupid lawyers. I don't have any
Okay,
stupid
okay,
lawyers.
another idea. Nick, another
If
idea.
you graduated from the bottom of your school in University of Delaware,
Why don't you
Yeah.
put the debt money on the countries where the immigrants are coming from? Okay, you see 100 people coming from Venezuela, okay? You stop them right there. You send note to Venezuela to immediately pay, how much is it? $10 million to the United States for adopting these immigrants from Venezuela. So Venezuela is responsible for this money, and you extract. There is a lot of oil in Venezuela. There are a lot of goods that you can get from Venezuela, the fresh fruits, many other stuff. Okay, and same thing with Mexico, Costa Rica, the Honduras, and all these Latin American countries. They are responsible for people who are coming to immigrate to the United States. So they have to be responsible for this money. So you just send them the bill, ask them to pay in 48 hours, and that's the end of story.
Yeah, it so does work. I mean, it worked in Alaska, it works overseas. It just has the American media and the
Nick,
American
hold on a
Trump
second.
is a billionaire.
That's the
He
question.
still can't come up
You
with
know,
100.
I like getting
Isaiah,
$100
you and your family from
idea.
Colombia. Are you going to want to pay this money that they want you to pay? Because if I remember
No,
correctly,
he's
your
not
family
going
is
to want
from
to,
Colombia.
but he's already here. But the thing is, if you're already legal, you're good to go. But his next brother that comes in or sister says, "Hey, I want to come in from Colombia." No problem. Write the check and you're in. And then you know what happens? Then Isaiah gets paid. He gets his
And,
immigration dividend.
And
Yeah.
one more thing, the U.S. Navy ships have to be nearby. U.S.
That's right. We'll enforce it.
ships.
We'll enforce it.
We
baby.
already
do that.
get a dividend from people coming in. The U.S. is making less than 80% of the babies it needs to not shrink. The only reason that our population is growing at all, and it's not really growing, we have less population growth in the U.S. total, immigrants plus babies, than at any other time in our history. About 0.4% a year at most lately. And the people coming in fill jobs, they keep our population somewhat steady. So there are.
Yeah,
What's
let me tell you,
what's
you'll
wrong
make
to have
Americans
both babies
pay for
and the
babies
money
like
as well? You can
immigration
have both.
dividends. Jack.
You can have both babies and the money.
Yeah.
I mean, and Singapore has one of the best immigration systems that changed with Lee Kuan Yew. And they did a point-based system with immigration. So I believe with education or your wealth or your job offers, having something that could bring value to the country that you're moving to is really what matters, because you want to make sure there's reciprocity, that whatever they bring in, they also get out of the country. Make
Canada
sure
has the same
having
thing.
people,
Canada has the same thing.
Yeah, it's a pay to play. Americans have a stupid immigration policy. Bring me your poor, you're busted, you're idiots. No, bring me your rich people. People are willing to pay. People are willing to work. You know,
They already have that.
They're all welcome.
So
We
if you
got
want to
plenty of
do
poor people.
this,
we don't need any more poor people here, Jatovi. We need,
If you
we need
wanted-
rich hard workers and people that will pay. And I want my immigration
Again,
dividend check.
Again, immigrants bring $1
That's
trillion
great.
dollars
Great.
in tax revenue.
That's great. But like Sasha says, how does it benefit me? It doesn't. But when I start getting my immigration dividend check, I will see immigrants differently. I'll be going, here's your welcome, Matt. Come right in.
if
baby."
you want to implement this or any other idea on immigration, in November, you have to elect people who aren't crazy, burn it all down assholes. Right now, like a huge chunk of the Congress is people who like the government being broken. And you got to get enough of those people out of government that the government can actually try new ideas.
Rick, let's be honest. Right now, it's the MAGA wing and the Republican Party that's corrupt at this moment, that's blocking anything and everything that's going on.
It's so corrupt that
Yeah, but
Russian Congress
put this
people
idea in front of you,
are
Jacoby,
quitting rather than put up
Yeah.
with their.
I mean, take a look at the oversight panel. The oversight panel, the whole case against Joe Biden is based on Russian intel or
yeah.
Russian misinformation about Joe Biden. And they're still pushing ahead with it because they want power. The Republican Party at this moment does not have a platform. They actually only want power more so than anything. It'd be great to have a third or fourth party that started out at the grassroots. I am not one for one starting at the top, because you'll never have an opportunity, because you got to build people around you. So you got to start off grassroots. I wish the Green Party were sane. I wish, No Labels had really thought about doing grassroots stuff and starting on the local elections instead of focusing so heavily on the presidential
Yeah, the
election.
Republicans, in all their craziness, they are working at the local level. 10 years ago, they started working at the local level. 5 years ago, they started the nuts started infiltrating school boards, which is like the smallest possible level you can, and they create all sorts of chaos.
Yeah, and they don't contribute anything to the conversation, because I haven't heard anything as good as this, and I like the idea of getting my immigration.
The Republican, the people on the school boards, these lunatics, like are freaking out because there's a comic book in which like a gay kid blows some other gay kid, and that is more important than anything else in education, according to the right-wing lunatics.
The irony of it all, too, which makes me laugh all the time, is, you know, they want to ban all these books. Two penguins being two dads raising an egg. Oh my gosh, that's so horrible. But we can't trust teachers to teach. But yeah, hey, let's throw guns. Let's make teachers carry guns. So you don't trust them with a book, but you're going to trust them with a gun. That is just sad irony of where we are, and that's the Republican Party.
Like I said, we'll have to get
You can't teach slavery because it might make white kids feel bad about what their ancestors did.
Okay, the thing is, we'll have to get in the conversation with guns, but I also like the idea of the gun dividend check. What happens is everybody owns a gun, has to pay into a fund. It's an insurance fund in case somebody gets injured. Once there's a profit, everybody here gets a gun dividend check, baby. And see, now we're heading in the right direction because all these gun owners got to pay, Jacoby.
I agree with you on the insurance, and that should go to the healthcare because there's such a burden.
Yeah, but when there's a profit, if you're in the insurance industry, there's a profit. And wouldn't you like, Jacoby, to get a gun dividend check?
Nah, I want cheaper healthcare.
Yes. But you can do whatever you want to with the gun dividend check. I don't really. I'm just saying I want to get America rich again rather than be the poor country that we are right now. With that, we want to thank everybody for watching World Edition. Hopefully we'll get you some good ideas rather than what you see in mainstream media, which is no ideas. Whereas, as David Walker says, what you see in Congress, no plan, as opposed to a plan. And we'll see you next time on World Edition. Take care. Bye-bye.